Hello my viewers, welcome back to the channel. And by the video title, you know what this video is about. Should the Pittsburgh Steelers sign Kwon Alexander? If you guys have seen the news, Kwon Alexander is visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers today. I don't know if he already visited them or he's planning on visiting them later today. He might be already on there as I'm recording this video, but Kwon Alexander, is a linebacker, and I mentioned before, the Steelers might need to add another piece, somebody who's an inside linebacker, add another guy there, for depth rotation like that as well. Remember I mentioned Myles Jack can be a guy in the previous video, bring him back on the cheaper deal. He was a leading tackler last year. He played pretty solid last year, so maybe adding him back will be, pretty good. But Kwon Alexander will be just as good as well. Kwon Alexander, had an 8-year NFL career, pretty solid player, and adding him to the mix would be cool. So I'm going to go through some of his strengths and his weaknesses as a player. But before I dive into the analytics and all the stats, I think the first thing I can think of the top of my head when I think of Kwon Alexander is that game he had against the Falcons. His brother passed, RP, and he went out there and played his heart out. Multiple interceptions that game, and making plays all over the field. Big time play after big time play. That right there was probably one of his best games. His best is not his best game. It was a very good game for him. And Kwon Alexander, I think overall, has had a solid career, 4th round pick. And, the Steelers added them to the mix. I think he'd be a good addition like that too as well. Some of his strengths, he's very good. I say very good. He's pretty good in pass coverage like that for a linebacker. He ranked in 2021, I believe it was the 8th ranked linebacker at a 66. He was ranked 8th in passer rating allowed, so that's actually pretty good, very good for a linebacker like that, being top 10 in the coverage. Last season, the Jets had him in different spots and stuff like that. I don't know the exact analytics for that because they didn't really have too much upon that because he played on limited role a little bit. But I think overall, he's good in coverage. He's good in coverage like that. Solid guy in coverage. His overall grade, passer rating allowed is 97. I think his night was 97.8 passer rating allowed like that to opposing quarterbacks when targeted. So that's actually pretty solid. It's pretty solid right there like that. It's not the best, but that's the worst. It's kind of like in the middle like that, and it's actually doable like that. So that's actually pretty good for him. And also, I feel like if the Steelers use him in a reduced role, you probably can get more out of him. Like I mentioned with Myles Jack, you put him in a reduced setting, you just get more out. Kind of like when the expectations be lower, and then also it just give them like less exposure, and just give them more spark like that. Kind of like when we had Juju Smith-Schuster here, Antonio Brown was the #1 guy getting double team, triple team, and Juju Smith-Schuster could just fly on the radar, lower expectations, and just go out there and make splash plays and big plays for us. When he became the #1 receiver, he was all right, but he wasn't like the same he once was because the attention was more on him. So sometimes when that guy can just fly on the radar, the attention is on the other guy like that. You can just fly on the radar and just make big time plays and just do things greatly. That's why I kind of like it for Joey Porter Jr. so he can develop well too as well. He's gonna be a cornerback out there, but like Patrick Peterson is probably the #1 guy out there, of course. Future Hall of Famer, all the accolades, 8-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro, and then you're gonna have Levi Wallace is still there. He played pretty solid last year. Pretty good, pretty solid cornerback overall. So Joey Porter Jr. can kind of fly on the radar a little bit. He can play in that second position next to Patrick Peterson. Him and Levi Wallace probably rotating in and out until they put Joey Porter Jr. as the legit starter. Most likely probably will be solidified as that. But you know how they kind of mix it up in different looks and coverages and stuff. So they kind of like flying on the radar a little bit, and you have that help. Kind of like how who is it? Herbig. Yeah, Herbig from Wisconsin. How he's going to kind of fly on the radar too, because you got TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith, him being the edge rusher as well. You have those guys, they double teaming those guys. So you out there in packages, just every instance they sub you in for Highsmith, so Highsmith can come out and catch his breath a little bit and pitch you in. TJ Watt getting all the attention like that. You can fly on the radar, you can go out there and spark and make some big flashes here and there. So it's always kind of good in that role like that, kind of like a 6-man in the NBA. Might not, he maybe be good enough to be a starter, but like how we seen with Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole was a starter for the Golden State Warriors. And so, this year was he had up and downs like that. But we seen when he was last year when they won a championship, when he came off the bench, he was a 6-man, and he went out there and he balled out and he played very good basketball because the exposure was less and the expectations was less as well too. And he gave more. It was on low risk and it was more high reward like that. Now when you put him out there too, the expectations are higher like that. So when you make a mistake, you're a starter and you see more stuff too. So it's kind of like a little mixture of that. I feel like if you pick Kwon Alexander in a role like that, I'm not saying he's gonna be a Pro Bowler or anything like that, but I feel like you can get the best out of him and you put him in the right situations and stuff. Now his weaknesses is in the run game. In the run game, he always struggled in the run game. You see it throughout his career. If you guys been following Kwon Alexander, I know he played. I didn't really see him last year at the Jets too much. I probably seen him a few times when he played us, and like a few games, but mostly I seen him Tampa Bay, of course. And of course, with the Saints and stuff like that, I seen him go out there and try to make plays in San Francisco when he was there as well. I think for like 1.5 years before he got traded. But in the run game, he's not the best in the run game. In coverage, he's solid in coverage like I mentioned before. But in the run game, getting downhill and tackling in the run game is not his strong suit. But I think with the Steelers having Cole Holcomb and having Elan Roberts, I feel like they'll be in that mix like that, and the Steelers won't put him in a bad situation where he can't go out there and like shine and stuff. So I feel like Kwon Alexander, if he was to come to Pittsburgh, it would be a good addition. I know that his injury and health status, sometimes you do have like some injury issues here and there, but I feel like overall it'd be a solid piece to add, and the Steelers can use him and utilize him for coverage and stuff, and they want to do those coverage with the linebackers. I don't know why they like doing the coverage with the linebackers. I don't mind it with the linebackers guarding the tight end sometimes like that, depending on what type of tight end it is, but I prefer a linebacker not to be on a receiver, especially a slot receiver. We've seen different like looks and stuff like that. But if you guard somebody in the middle like that, tight end, or like running backs in the middle, I don't mind that stuff like that. But not when they guarding like slot receivers. We've seen the Steelers do that a few times. We're like, what are they doing? They got Robert Lane guarding Tyreek Hill in the slot. And luckily, I remember that one game, the Dolphins, we did play them. They didn't pass the ball to him because Tyreek Hill was getting guarded by Spillane and stuff and Bush. I'm like, oh, no, it's going to turn out too good. And not going to turn out too good. So hopefully the Steelers don't do that. And hopefully Kwon Alexander just put in situations to be in zone coverage to like be like almost like a help person like that in zone coverage like that. We see like he can come in and make different decisions and make different plays and just put him in the best, like put him on his best spot in the field. He can play his best at like that. Put him in the right situation. I feel like he'd be a good depth piece, rotational piece for the team. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think down below. That's all I got for this video. And with that, I forgot my outro. I'm about to say, without further ado, hit the intro. I'll be making this one video every week on the other channel, on the Genesis channel. Put the link in the description or the comment section. I do stories of horror, talk about different like crazy events and stuff like that. And I always say, without further ado, hit the intro. I was mixing my stuff up like that. I'm colliding universes. But if you guys like this video, leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time on the channel. That's the right one. Peace out.